Hi there, welcome to Artful Stampin'. Today I'm going to be making a start on the swaps that I'm going to be needing for the upcoming demonstrator convention that's happening in November. So I've decided to use the painted glass stamp set and buffalo check. This is a lovely large stamp set that's great for backgrounds and creating backgrounds as well. So I'm going with a kind of pink and grey theme and got a piece of a very vanilla cardstock in front of me to start inking up with a sponge. Now I'm going to be using a bit of a interesting collage technique and some embossing. So hold tight because this is going to be fun. So here you can see that I've sponged with two colours of pink. I've got powder pink and berry burst, and I'm fairly randomly kind of sponging colour onto the page. After I've done that, I went over with my anti-static powder bag, which is a great tool for not getting powder where you don't want it to go. I even kind of rubbed it into my fingers to make sure that I didn't transfer any kind of oils from my fingers onto the paper. So here I'm using the very pretty butterfly stamp and clear embossing powder. Sorry, embossing pad, not powder. And then pouring some clear embossing powder over the stamped images. And as you can see, it's sticking nicely to my piece of cardstock. Now, it was quite a sunny day when I filmed this, so I'm sorry for the kind of occasional glare that you get. And so I heated this up and was really careful to make sure that I kind of got all the different bits of powder heated, because if you don't do it at this stage and then you start stamping or sponging over the top of it, all it does, it just removes that powder. So you really have to make sure that you heat it up properly, and when you look closely you can see the magic happening, so you shouldn't miss it. So after I'd done one lot of stamping and embossing, I realised that there were some spaces that needed some more butterflies, so I went back in there with the sponge and the embossing buddy and the stamps and the powder and heated it again to make sure I had enough butterflies. So then I started stamping with the buffalo check stamp, and I didn't mount it on a block. I did this deliberately because I wanted a much more kind of sporadic, grungy feel to it, rather than a definite kind of big kind of rectangle. And again, in my hands I've got the circle stamp from the painted glass set, and again, I just didn't want the whole circle on there, so I'm just using my hands just to hold the stamp and just stamp down. So now I'm stamping the rose in a dark grey, so this is basic grey, and I just wanted that, kind of pretty overall kind of collage look. So this is when the kind of magic starts happening, and you can start to reveal the butterfly underneath, because we've embossed with the clear embossing powder onto some of the pink. By going over those images and with a grey ink on the sponge, it starts to reveal the butterfly underneath, which is absolutely lovely. So you get these different shades of pink kind of peeking through. So initially I sponged with the smoky slate and then realised it needed a little bit more, and I started to sponge with the basic grey as well to kind of really pull that butterfly out. So I decided to then cut this up into sections. I think I got 5 on each row, so that was 10 sections out of that piece of A4, and then cut some smoky slate cardstock into card front sizes, and decided that rather than just sticking it down onto that plain grey, I was going to stamp some butterflies at the top left and at the bottom right, just to kind of carry on that pattern, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So because I was making 12 of these, I kind of got into production mode and kind of got in a bit of a rhythm and stamped those all. So then it was just a case of gluing it down and then adding some little pearl embellishments afterwards. So this is a great way to create multiple cards or swaps if you're having to do it, if you're a demonstrator. Although sometimes I encourage my customers to do it at events, and it's a great way of trying out new techniques and sharing them. So very quickly I managed to make my 10 cards, and I hope you've enjoyed learning this technique. It's one that I'm definitely going to try again. So take care. Don't forget to hop over to artfulstampin.co.uk if you like what you see and you'd like to purchase some of the products you've seen today. Take care for now. Bye.